Adam Silver, don't you do it.
Don't you dare.
Don't
do what you always
Don't do it. Not today. Not this year. Don't you do it.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
I'm on to you, Adam. I've been on to you for a long time now. Grandmama! Yes, that's right. Doug, he dropped the grandmama glasses on me. I didn't even realize he was going to do it. Oh, man. It's a Locked On Hornets Lottery Day edition, folks. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your podcast. That includes YouTube. Real quickly, I want to tell you this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com, Locked On NBA. I'm Walker Mail. I'm on WFNZ every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. with Wes and Walker. Okay, it's lottery day. We're going to figure out if we get the first overall pick, and that means we're going to figure out if we get Cooper Flagg or not. We both have good luck charms on because Larry Johnson is the only number one overall pick in Charlotte Hornets history. We did not text about this. We just both understood the assignment. I am wearing my grandmama t-shirt. Okay. Is it a little tight? Sure. But you know what else is tight? My patience. And I'm ready to get the number one overall pick. And I'll wear a small t-shirt if I have to. Is Doug looking ridiculous as we speak in grandma glasses? Okay. But he understood the assignment. And he's here for another number one overall pick for the first time since I've been born. I've not been on this earth when the Hornets got a first overall selection, and the first time since 1991 when they selected LJ out of UNLV. How are you feeling, Doug?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm here in Chicago. I'm not in the I'm not where the thing is going to take place. I can't get in there until 3:00. So I'll try to do some lives from YouTube.
You've been trying. I just want people to know he's been trying. He's been banging on the windows. They just won't let him in.
They wouldn't let me in. It might be the glasses, although I think they make me look smart. I think they make me look intelligent. So I think I'm going to keep them on for the rest of the day. We'll see. I'll tell you what else is going to be tight.
You can bake a mean batch of cookies is what it does. I would love to eat your chocolate chip cookies, honestly.
I'll tell you what else is going to be tight if the Hornets get the number one overall selection.
What's that?
You know what I'm saying?
Something else? Okay.
I want it. Because, yes, look, I mean, the Hornets, and this is what we should talk about. The Hornets, it's not that they need this. They obviously need this. To me, it's that they deserve this. Because you mentioned it, 1991. That's the last time the Charlotte Hornets have gotten the number one overall selection, gotten lucky in the lottery. Followed that up by getting even luckier, moving up more spots to number 2 to get Alonzo Mourning in 92. But they haven't had much lottery luck since then.
Let's talk about the deserve part, because I think Hornets fans have deserved this as much as any fan base forever, right? Hornets fans have deserved this forever, having helped the Hornets lead the league in attendance for so long until it took among the worst owners of all time. If you don't believe me, just ask the hierarchy the Ringer ranking. That all three of them showed up. All of them. So the only ones not on that pyramid of pain is the current ownership, the current regime. So anyways, Hornets fans have deserved this the entire time. But it's an interesting question, right? Do the Hornets deserve it? Yep. Because I think you could argue for a long time the Hornets didn't deserve it, right? The Hornets took their organization away, and then they went to the Pelicans. They went to New Orleans, I should say, and then the Pelicans, also a team that has received the number one overall pick a couple of times. That franchise has, and they've never been to a conference finals either. So that's something where we had our team taken away. But also, 3 different owners have shown up in terms of the worst owners in NBA history. Right. So they don't deserve it. I do think this is the year where you could argue they do, right? So the pitch for that, the Hornets organization deserves it, right? It's that they finally picked a lane. It feels like they've been doing things the right way. They have talent that they didn't just ship off. Like, they definitely tried to tank this year for sure. There was some egregious parts to tanking, but also not nearly as egregious as what you would see from Toronto that would just sit their starters in the second half of winning time. It wasn't nearly as egregious. And they didn't trade away LaMelo for all the picks. They didn't trade away Brandon for all the picks. They traded away Mark, but also like that was unsure. We were unsure how much of that was tanking. It just felt right. It felt like they wanted to move on to some degree, and that was great value. And then they couldn't even get that done because the Lakers decided that they didn't want to get that done anymore. I think this is the first time in a while, Doug, where you have a legitimate case that the franchise, not the fan base. The fan base has deserved a number 1 overall pick ever since that the fan base has been in existence. But the franchise, it's the first time in a while, in my opinion, that you could argue the guys over there at Spectrum Center deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have enough pieces where if they did get Cooper Flagg, it would be meaningful. Like Cooper Flagg wouldn't have to wait on a few more pieces to come and help out. I think LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, if they're healthy enough, that's enough talent to go and make some noise in the Eastern Conference alongside what we all think Cooper Flagg is going to be. You speak about the ownership group, and I think the Mark Williams trade actually signals that the Hornets deserve this even more because they're willing to make the difficult decision to trade someone that they have declared was part of their core 4. And so you want your organization to be able to make those difficult decisions if you're going to bring someone of Cooper Flagg's talent and try to win as soon as possible. I also think that they haven't done a lot of winning in the past. I think if you're talking about teams that don't deserve it, the Rockets, they have a slim chance because they're going to get Phoenix's pick. They don't deserve it. They've done their fair share of winning. They've got enough young pieces. Dallas, obviously they're there because of the Luka trade, which that alone should disqualify them. But then they've also got Anthony Davis and Kyrie. They can do enough winning without Cooper Flagg next season. And the San Antonio Spurs, they don't deserve it because they've already gotten Wemby. And a couple of these, like the New Orleans Pelicans, my God, I mean, they've been lucky a number of times in this draft lottery. They certainly don't deserve it. The Hornets, on the other hand, they've been a little bit lucky recently with the Brandon Miller number 2 overall selection and then LaMelo jumping up to number 3. But both of those players have spent, the early parts of their careers on the injured list. So, I mean, the injuries that the Hornets have had to battle through over the past couple of years, and yet they still continue to try to win, try to do it the right way. Not only the ownership group, but they brought in a coach in Charles Lee that I think thinks about the game in the correct way. Like if you had a coach in here that was not signaling to you that they were going to build this team and coach this team around things that win in the playoffs, then I would say, okay, maybe the Hornets have this wrong. Maybe they're not ready for this first overall selection. But no, like Charles Lee comes from championship pedigree, and he tried to make this roster do those things, and he doesn't have the roster yet. So, Cooper Flagg would be a perfect fit for Charles Lee because, if you look across their better players, I mean, Mark Williams has issues on defense. LaMelo has issues on defense. Brandon Miller, I think, can be an above-average defender, but right now he has issues on defense. Cooper Flagg is going to help you immediately in that department. So for all those reasons, I think the Hornets are the most deserving franchise to get this number 1 overall selection.
Last thing before we move on and maybe focus a little more on Cooper, on the prize of the number 1 or the prize of the lottery, really, and getting the number 1 overall pick. So, Doug, I was watching Pacers-Cavs last night. Just the Pacers turned into the dream team after Benedict Mathurin was ejected from that game. Miles Turner, not Patrick Ewing or David Robinson on the dream team. Miles Turner turned into Michael Jordan from the dream team with the way that he was just destroying them. Oh, my God. Anyways, if the Pacers win one more game, they're going to go to their 10th Eastern Conference Finals appearance since 1997, 1998. Their 10th in 30 years. They are averaging ahead. Not quite even up to. They are averaging ahead of schedule. They're averaging over a conference finals appearance almost every 3 years. You can go since 2000, right? Like, all right, 97, 98, like that's an interesting number. Like, okay, yeah, I did start when they started.
I think I know where you're going with this because the question in my mind, or the question that I have in my head right now, I think you're about to reveal.
Well, I don't, maybe. It's just that since 2000, the Pacers have been to the conference finals, I think like 7 times with different iterations. That's what's crazy. They keep doing it with different players. They keep doing it with a different core every single time.
And?
The Hornets have never been there. They have the longest streak without a conference finals appearance. The only team to have not also reached a conference finals is the New Orleans Pelicans. I guess Washington has a longer streak, but they've been in existence longer, and the Hornets have never reached it. So because of all of that, I would like the Hornets to be able to build a foundation to get there. I don't think I quite hit on the point that you were looking for. What were you looking for out of that example?
Well, how many number one overall selections have the Indiana Pacers had in the NBA draft since 2000? I'm gonna guess here that it's zero.
Yeah. It's zero. It's zero.
Right, and so there are other ways. The Indiana Pacers obviously have proven that there are other ways to accomplish this. And if the Hornets are, and this is probably a conversation that we should have tomorrow if they do, in fact, miss out on Cooper Flagg. But the Hornets, I think, even if I'm not really willing to put this label on Schlotkin yet, but I would certainly say the Michael Jordan iteration of this franchise was constantly waiting for that magical moment to happen to then say, okay, now we can move forward. Now we can do the thing. And even getting LaMelo Ball at 3 wasn't good enough, although I think you could argue that Michael Jordan was already kind of checked out by that point. But not even that was enough for them to put the foot on the pedal. I hope that Schlotkin doesn't feel that way, that this new ownership group doesn't feel like, oh, well, the only way we can really move this thing forward is if we have a surefire number one overall selection that is due to be multi-time All-NBA player, because that stuff is never guaranteed. You can build your franchise into a contender in so many different ways, and Indiana proves that.
You make a good. The example I was bringing up was actually an example against the Hornets getting the number one overall pick because of what you pointed out, and you were right. So I apologize for bringing that up. Just throw that out. Edit that out of the podcast.
No, I didn't know. I love that idea that, look, we can all sit here and dream about Cooper Flagg, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if the dust settles tonight and the Hornets are at 3 or they even fall to 6, that is not a death knell for this franchise unless they allow it to be, which is what they've done year after year, which is why Do Something, I should have put it on a T-shirt, which is why Do Something became such a mantra for the show, because you don't have to get the number one overall selection. In fact, it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee with Wemby. Wemby spent so much time on the injury list. We don't know what that career is going to pan out to be. You can't wait on this. You can't wait on magic. You have to take control of your own destiny. Hello?
Love it. Listen to Grandmama. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
We'll continue the lottery conversation, and Doug has found something he's not happy with when it comes to Phony Givony of ESPN.com. That's still to come, LOH. This episode is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, you know what time it is. Playoff season means big performances and even bigger rewards. DoorDash is bringing the heat with a slam dunk deal for Dash Pass members during the 2025 NBA playoffs. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50 or more points in a playoff game, Dash Pass members score a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the very next day. Just place an order of $20 or more, use the code WINGSTOP50 at checkout, and that combo is yours. Crispy, delicious, and totally free. Offer is valid from noon to midnight the day after the game, and terms apply. So here's the play. Sign up for Dash Pass to unlock this and more exclusive deals all season long. When any player scores 50 or more in a playoff game, Dash Pass members can grab a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the next day with a $20 plus order and code WINGSTOP50. That's Dash Pass, your door to more savings, more flavor, and more ways to win. Terms apply. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Last thing on the previous topic, just how much maybe the Hornets deserve it, how much fans deserve it. So I went out into Noda on Saturday for the first time in a long time. Nice. And there were people that watched the podcast.
Oh, wow.
The first thing it's all Cooper, man. Yep. So that's all anybody wants to know about. Like, I saw a couple people that said, hey, Walker from Locked On Hornets, what are the chances we're going to get Cooper?
14.
Right? Like people need this. Bailey, Garrett, Brent, Peter, they all need it. Okay? They need it. Walker, Doug, we do need it. It's something that I feel like the fan base does deserve quite a bit, and I'm hoping that we get it here tonight. But you are right. Like, I am glad that you brought back into the picture the way that the Pacers get it done, because I was bringing up just a mid-market, small-market team getting to the conference finals quite frequently, and the Hornets have never done it, but the Pacers have done it, and they've never done it with the number 1 overall pick, and they just keep doing it in a variety of ways. Like, it's crazy. Herb Simon and that ownership group, they refuse to bottom out, and you could look at it as they're not going to go through a whole tank situation because they just don't want to go through that where they don't have butts in the seats. But if you deliver on it and you continue to be a top 4 team in the NBA as much as you have been, then fine, right? Make shrewd trades like flipping Paul George if you have to for an Oladipo or Sabonis, which people destroyed you for. You're even the 2004 team, the Malice at the Palace. That team was going to be the championship favorite. They could have won it all that year, and yet you had Ron Artest go up into the stands. You've had so many different iterations of different squads actually lead them to semi-promised land, and only the NBA Finals once in 2000. But still get to a conference finals appearance, which is something that we've never seen. And it's you just want to see a team that is building the right way towards that goal where that's achievable, where that's something conceivable with this team, that they've laid the foundation. And I feel like we see some infant stages of that, but maybe this is a big step forward if they get the number 1 overall pick.
Totally agree. And I had limited packing space. I had to kind of, because of the commuting and doing the different things, I had to pack light. So I couldn't bring all of my good luck charms or all of my accoutrement that I would do for the show. So I brought the glasses. And I just want to preview a thing that might be showing up later. I don't want to jinx it, but I'll just give you a little half preview. If you're watching this on YouTube.
Don't show too much.
Don't show too much.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, God,
I'm
too
gonna put
much.
it away. I'm going to put it. It's going to go over here, and we're not going to touch it or look at it or think about it unless something happens.
It's gone.
Tonight.
Nope. That's tonight. That's tonight. By the way, I'm going to be hosting a live draft show on WFNZ at Legion Brewing South Park location.
The
just
draft
so you don't,
lottery show.
Yeah, we're going to be doing live draft lottery show from 6 to 8. Terrence Oglesby is going to be joining me. Cardi Party, Paul B and Cardi, Paulie Buckets, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be talking about it. And Paulie B is the most optimistic dude in the world.
Paulie Ballnuts.
That sounds not like a great play on the name, but I'm sure he would welcome it. So anyways, if you want to go out there and say what's up, the Hornets are putting it on. We're hosting it. I'm hosting it alongside a couple of other people. So, after that, I would love to hop on with you, Doug, because if it happens, we're staying up for a while, 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock. I want to see you wear the certain thing that you were teasing. I won't say its name, though.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get on YouTube Live somehow, some way, if it's back here at the Verbo or if it's at the, I think it's like McCormick Place. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know where exactly this is taking place. I'm gonna have to roam around the building a little bit and figure it out later today. But wherever
I want to see you scale the building, and then Zach Lowe, who is in the lottery room where the ping pong balls are flying, I want him to look out the window and see the tops of your glasses peeking out of the corner of the window, and then just immediately retreat. And Zach, what was that? Him talk about it on the Lowe Show. Can't wait.
I've already seen Come On Maluach, and I can confirm he is a very large human being. We'll talk about him more. We got a sicko satchel question about him coming up, but I got to get to this phony Givony nonsense.
Please do.
It's already
Please
starting.
Do.
Are you ready for it?
Yep.
So I'm doing my draft prep this morning, my draft lottery prep. By the way, drafts on Locked On NBA, we're going to do a squad show live for the lottery. I'll probably show up on that as well. So that's on the Locked On NBA feed. Check that out tonight. And then I'm doing my draft lottery prep, and I'm reading this thing on ESPN. It's a team-by-team preview, and I get to Charlotte, and it's written by Jonathan Givony, or as I like to call him, Phony Givony. And he writes this: after the failed Mark Williams trade with the Lakers at the deadline and a somewhat discouraging season from rookie Tidjane Salaun, the Hornets have time on their side but could sorely use good luck on May 12th to propel the franchise in a more defined direction. My problem with this, Walker, is somewhat discouraging season from rookie Tidjane Salaun. How did he have a somewhat discouraging season? If you understood what they were doing in that draft, they were taking a swing on a raw prospect that a lot of people liked, and they took that swing in a weak draft and he spent some time in Greensboro, probably played a little too much, honestly, but in that time got better as the year went on. I just don't see how you could describe that as discouraging, except if you are parading around pretending to know what all of these teams are doing. Here's the thing, Phony Givony, if you're listening, and I know you are, let's make a deal. I'll quit pretending to be a draft expert if you quit pretending to be an expert on the Charlotte Hornets, okay? Deal? Deal. Great.
No, actually, I kind of don't want that. I want to yell at him, and I want you to continue to be a draft expert. But that's still a good enough offer. You're right. You can take that snippet of this write-up, but also, I'm not sure it makes so much sense. I feel what's funny is you talk about hedging your bets. You talk about sitting the fence. This is how this sentence is constructed, okay? After the failed Mark Williams trade with the Lakers at the deadline and a somewhat discouraging season from rookie Tidjane Salaun, all bad, the Hornets have time on their side. More bad, okay? The Hornets have more time on their side. Except for this point I'm immediately going to make next, which is the Hornets could sorely use good luck. They got time on their side, but they could sorely use good luck. That's a contradiction. What? How? They got time on their side, but they could sorely use good luck? That doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Anyways, Phony Givony, we got to yell at you a little bit. Let's move on, and we can answer a Sicko Satchel question. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast. Bees everywhere! Sicko Satchel question. We still have a mock draft today. We'll give you all of that in the final segment, Lottery Edition, LOH. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you can start actually building wealth. They give you all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Plus, they allow easy collaboration. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. This episode is also brought to you by Hungry Root. It's been a while. Hungry Root. Everyone at my house always has something going on. I call this the busy season, especially with the draft lottery right after the regular season. It makes that transition into the off season and lottery time, draft time, all of it. I don't have a lot of time to go grocery shopping or to cook healthy meals at home, but that's why Hungry Root would be a great option for me and you if you can relate. Hungry Root is like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist wrapped into one. They take care of grocery shopping and meal planning, offering personalized recommendations based on your taste and your health goals. Take advantage of this exclusive deal, by the way. Get 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA for 40% off and a lifetime free item. Gotta sing D'Angelo. Hungry Root. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Sicko Satchel time, mock draft time, the third segment. This is your space. This is your area. I will not put my feet up on your couch. Talk to me, Doug. What you got for the people?
I don't want to end this show on a negative note, so I'm going to go ahead and do the mock draft that I have pulled up here. It's from Yahoo Sports. It's a 2-round mock. It is one of the final, I guess it is the final mock draft that we will do that will simulate the draft order.
Yeah.
All of the mock drafts from here on out, we will know where the Hornets are selecting. So this is by Kevin O'Conman. So we're following up a little Phony Givony with a little Kevin O'Conman. And in his simulation, I'm just going to do air quotes, simulation. Like the Hornets fall all the way to 7, which is as far as they could possibly fall. The Nets get the number 1 pick, the Pelicans, and then the 76ers, of course, get pick number 3. Get out of it. This was not a simulation. I'm sorry. The universe itself has more of a chance of being a simulation than this draft order was a simulation. So round 1, pick 7. Get this. He has the Hornets taking Jeremiah Fears. I cannot think of a worse pick for the Charlotte Hornets in the 1 to 7 range than Jeremiah Fears because he is a smaller point guard that really, like, I don't know what LaMelo Ball would think at that moment. I'm getting traded. Like, if they take Jeremiah Fears, he's getting traded. But the write-up says LaMelo Ball is Charlotte's point guard for today, but how sure are we that he's the point guard for the long term? Well, even if you're not sure, Jeremiah Fears is young, questionable decision-making. I mean, I think like that would be really a signal that the Hornets are in for a long-term rebuild. And not only that, in this draft, the Hornets would pass up Trey Johnson at 8, Derek Queen at 9, Colin Murray-Boyles, who we haven't talked about because I think he's not going to be possibly in the Hornets range, although we'll see if he raises his stock here at the draft combine. But Colin Murray-Boyles, don't know if he can shoot or if he's ever going to shoot, but he would seem to be the like prototypical defending forward, power forward, possibly even crazy small ball Draymond Green center that Charles Lee would salivate over having in terms of defensive versatility. So you pass up on all those players to go small point guard in Jeremiah Fears. I just don't get it.
The only thing that makes sense to me is that he does something the other guards on your team don't, and that's get to the paint all the time. Yeah. Like he does just constantly touch the paint. But you're right. I'm with you in spirit, especially with Trey Johnson on the board. I would much rather have Trey Johnson a part of this team. Derek Queen is so much more intriguing. Derek Queen is going to be an interesting study as we get to the draft because I wonder if the defense is going to be bad enough for you to just not want any part of that. That would make some sense, but really fun player. Yeah, Jeremiah Fears with those two guys on the board.
No, the players that I'm down on for the Charlotte Hornets, which are Jeremiah Fears, I would say Kaman Maluach. It's all about Hornets fit. I mean, I think this is a strong draft. I mean, I think really like 1 to 12 on most players or most teams' big boards are going to be contributing role players for NBA teams. I'm not like, I'm not hating on the player themselves. I just think the fit doesn't make any sense. And again, my whole thing on fit is if you're drafting in the top 3, then particularly if it's a player at a position that is not really the future of your franchise or has a questionable future, then you shouldn't take fit into account. But otherwise, if you're drafting, below that, I think then that has to play some factor, particularly for that player because it's going to mean playing time. All right, Sicko Satchel. And it has to do with Kaman Maluach, so this is a good transition. Okay. Ben from the 7th Dwayne Bacon Division writes this. I listened to the podcast where you gave your big board and Maluach wasn't there. God forbid, but if we get the 6th, 7th pick and the front office decides to trade Mark away, would you want Maluach to be the guy, or do we run it back with Nurkic and keep waiting for our long-term 5?
So I'd be interested in your answer more so than mine with your center thoughts. I think for me, though, Maluach, I was never a huge fan as it pertained to his transition to the NBA in terms of being a top 7 pick. There's too many players that I like ahead of him that I would end up selecting, whether I'm the Hornets or whether I'm just a different team altogether. There were some moments that had me rethinking that. There was a game, and there was a couple games in the tournament that had me believing in Maluach. I think it was Alabama, where he was just dominant, and that was a really fun game from him. Against Houston, he was quite bad. Now, there's the whole off-the-court stuff where he was worried about possibly having to, be kicked out of his country, which is a whole separate story. So, yeah, that was something that could have very much been affecting him, a very human part of all of this. But even before that, during the regular season, I don't see him as all that mobile. I like my bigs to just be a little bit more mobile. He is huge. He does show you some three-point shooting chops, and not the fake Walker Kessler, not the fake Donovan Clingan three-point shooting chops.
We'll wait and see on that.
Well, it's the fake in terms of, hey, he hit a whole bunch of shots with nobody in his face at the combine. Yeah, Mark Williams hits a whole bunch of threes every time that he shoots not out of a game or not in a game, and then in a game he's 0 for 3. Like, this is what centers do. Maluach actually hit a couple I don't know if that's something. Maybe that's something that translates. I'm probably out more so than I'm in, but there are ways I can see it working. I think in terms of going at it with Nurkic as the lead guy, I think if you trade Mark away, fine. Nurk can be a placeholder, but clearly you got to make a big decision at center if you trade Mark away and you don't get Maluach.
I think in terms of Maluach, I agree with a lot of what you said there, and I think that if they're drafting at 6 or 7 and one of the players that I'm a little bit higher on wasn't there, then I would want the Charlotte Hornets to consider trading back into the later lottery or even like just outside of the lottery and getting maybe like a Colin Murray-Boyles or somebody that can immediately help their wing defense. And I think there are several players. Carter Bryant is another name that might be hanging around the late lottery. I think there are some players that could help your wing defense immediately. And I'm in total agreement about the mobile big thing. Like if you're – look, I think from the Hornets' perspective, if you're banking on LaMelo and Brandon being your offensive engines, then you're gonna need two things. You're going to need someone that can be defensively versatile at the center position and guard and be able to switch occasionally and anchor down low. And you're going to need another wing defender in the Josh Green mold. I just think you can't have enough of those players. But you have to compensate for Brandon Miller's continued build-up on defense and LaMelo's ceiling, his cap, defensively. You've got to counter those things. But I think they're better equipped to do that in this draft at the wing position than they are with Maluach at the center position. So I would want them to either trade back or acquire one of those players if they feel like, okay, trading back is we're going to miss out on that guy. I'm not big into Maluach. I don't think it's going to work out for the Charlotte Hornets. And honestly, it would feel like a little bit of a Mark Williams run back for me. And we've done this. I'm done with this. I'd rather run it back with Nurk or, possibly, and I don't think the Hornets are going to do this. I don't think they're in a position to do this, particularly if they're picking 6 or 7. But, making a run for Miles Turner in free agency, like that would be something I'd be way more interested in than building up another center in the Mark Williams mold, which I know you don't like this comparison as much as I do, but I see it a lot, and I just don't want to do the Mark Williams thing again.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like Mark maybe has become closer to Maluach than what he was coming out of college.
It's
right?
sort of a reverse pro comparison. It's not really like a pro comp. It's the pro is moving towards the college player, which is not good.
Well, in terms of just style, though, that because Mark coming out, I would say, yeah, Mark's actually really mobile and somebody that I'm excited about out there on the perimeter. And then, then this year we started to see him put weight on, have the injuries, and then be more of a plotter to some extent. That's the issue. But yeah, I'm not sure that he'll be the pick. I am very interested in what the Hornets think about their center position going forward. Nurk says he wants minutes. So if they trade away Mark and they don't draft Maluach, he's going to get a lot of minutes here with Charlotte. Is that a good thing? I think for the most part not, but there's still some good stuff that he does. And so we'll see exactly what they decide to do at center. We'll see what the NBA decides to do in the NBA draft lottery.
And that's right. They're deciding. Don't let anyone tell you this thing is
that's
random. Right. I'm a full conspiracy theorist now. I've been totally red-pilled on the whole idea of this draft lottery. And I'll tell you, if there's if LeBron James is right and there is indeed something going on behind the scenes, then I think Charlotte has to win this thing. I mean, you got Cooper Flagg, you got the Duke connection, you've got the Maine connection. Shout out Steve Clifford, still in the building. I'm looking for those two as well. I'm keeping my eye out for Steve Clifford. I'm keeping my eye out for Mitch Kupchak. See if they're wandering around the halls of the Marriott here in Chicago. You know who I did see? I don't know why I saw him, but I did see Jeremy Lamb. Lamb. Yeah, I don't know.
He can't be representing anybody. I think he's out of the league right now, if I'm not mistaken. But he's doing a whole bunch of podcasts. So maybe Jeremy Lamb is on a podcast tour and he's in Chicago that way. I've been to that Marriott. That Marriott is fantastic. That's a great place to stay. There's plenty. Everything is so accessible from that Marriott, and you're not staying too far away from it. So I'm happy for you. Go to Harold's. Get Harold's fried chicken. Please go do that. Also, go get the number 1 overall pick. Just make sure, I don't know how good you are at art and painting, but paint every single ping pong ball with the Hornets logo, so there's no choice. But
yeah, I shouldn't be saying any of this because I think they randomly select certain media members to like go and observe the actually. So maybe I should say this. Maybe I should go full bore and see if they just select me to prove to me that everything's on the up and up, because I think they like randomly pick certain people to go and observe the process. So if that's me, I will do my duty, and I'll kick a Charlotte Hornets ping pong ball. I'm kidding, NBA, I'm kidding.
All right, cross your fingers, folks. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com, Locked On NBA, but he's on your favorite podcast, Locked On Hornets, and he's in Chicago. We'll be breaking down pretty much everything, even if they don't get the number 1 overall pick tonight. We'll talk about what they get in the second, third, fourth, whatever it may be. We'll talk about the benefits. We'll talk about the detriments to whatever it is that they land, but we'll be talking about it all week long on Locked On Hornets. I'm Walker Mail. I'll be doing the same thing on Wes and Walker every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 WFNZ. Also check out, if you can, go to Legion Brewing in the South Park area. We're going to that location. Hornets Lottery Watch Party. Could be despair, could be a lot of fun, but we're going to be there. It's my favorite Johnny Manziel quote. Boys, if we win or we lose, we're drinking.
That's right.
That's happening at
Legion.
Legion.
Tonight, Legion Brewing is the low bar. The low bar moves to Legion Brewing.
I'll be hosting that lottery draft show from 6 to 8 p.m. Have a great night. We'll be back with you maybe tonight, but definitely tomorrow right here, Locked On Hornets.